So guys, EA have released the first Showdown SBC of FC 24, and it is between Chelsea and Spurs. This actually doesn't take place till next week. I know that Spurs are home for this match, or I think they're home for this match. I will double check in a second. But the two players they have chosen is Mudryk for Chelsea and Kulusevski for Spurs. So not the most exciting players, but I didn't really expect them to be throwing anyone else, in all honesty. So two wingers obviously to choose for, Mudryk on the left-hand side and Kulusevski on the right-hand side. I would have liked to have seen maybe a change of the Showdown cards this year, in that maybe you get some form of a player pick, so an option between, you know, a couple of Spurs players to go for, or a couple of Chelsea players, rather than just kind of being restricted to one player from either club. But it is what it is. So how do Showdowns work? Well, obviously, it is based on the outcome of the match that will take place next Monday. So if it's a draw, both cards will get a 1+ upgrade. And if Spurs win, Kulusevski will go to an 87, Mudryk would stay as an 85, and vice versa if Chelsea were to win. I think Spurs will win the game. Yes, they haven't been great in some games this season. The Liverpool game, they got very lucky. In the Palace game, they weren't amazing in. But even still, obviously, in a much better position than Chelsea. Chelsea looked like they were going to start to get into good form, especially when they were 2-0 up against Arsenal, but ultimately lost a 2-goal lead. And then, obviously, the Brentford game wasn't too good for them. So, yeah, obviously, if you're a Chelsea fan, by all means, go for it. And if this Mudryk card gets the upgrade, he becomes good. I mean, he's 4-star, 4-star. You know, restricted to playing on the left-hand side, but that is fine. Really nice pace, decent shooting. Passing for vision is great. The rest of it is pretty disappointing. Dribbling is fairly decent, but really, really low reactions and composure. Not the best for stamina. And doesn't really have the best traits either. Now, what I like with Kulusevski just a little bit more is, first of all, he's got the finesse shot playstyle, which is probably the best playstyle that you can have in an attacker. Much better stamina, much better dribbling, especially that you know, extra reactions and composure, just far better than Mudryk. Even if Mudryk gets the upgrades, he's never going to get anywhere near those reactions, those composure or stamina. He's not going to get any more useful playstyles. And Kulusevski is also, again, 4-star, 4-star. I don't know what work rate Mudryk is. High, medium. They are both high, medium. Now, interestingly, Kulusevski is actually the cheaper SBC in terms of only one segment, and 86 rated, with a team of the week on top of that, so it's not going to be too cheap, especially with a lot of the SBCs that we've had recently. 84s, certainly 85s and 86s have started to go up quite a bit, but 84s as well a little bit. For Mudryk, it's an 84 of a team of the week, and then an 86 rated squad. So they are favouring Chelsea to win this game, which is very interesting considering Spurs are actually home of the two sides. I would be very surprised if Spurs get beat, genuinely. I think they're in a really good position right now, and they're not playing midweek. I don't know if Chelsea are playing midweek in the League Cup. I think they are. I think they did win their game, so Spurs have got even more time for recovery between their games. I just think they're in a much better position right now than Chelsea, so if you're thinking on betting on one player that's going to get, I mean, by all means, you can go and do both of them, and then you've got the guarantee of at least one card getting an upgrade. But I think if any player is more likely, it's Kulusevski with Spurs, and I think he's a much better card. And I think you can compare these two. Yes, they both play on opposite sides of the wing, but for me, Kulusevski just looks a much better, well-rounded card, and passing so much better. You know, 87 crossing, 85 short passing, 87 curve, up to the standard that you would expect for passing. Whereas with Mudryk, yes, his vision's decent, but the rest of the passing's bad. And obviously, you will be able to take these cards eventually into Evos once they fit the requirements, which I guess is pretty good. But I'd say Mudryk's a long way off, genuinely. So personally, out of the two of them, I think Kulusevski not only is actually a better priced SBC, he's by far a much better option. I would even go as far to say if Mudryk even got the win and we'll go to an 87, I'd still argue Kulusevski is probably better than Mudryk, because as I said, Mudryk's never going to get to the crossing, to the curve, to the short passing level of Kulusevski. His composure and reactions and stamina are still going to be miles away as well, and they're all really important key stats as far as I'm concerned for a winger. And as I said, he's not going to get that finesse shot playstyle or any of the scoring or passing playstyles. For an attacking player not to have any playstyles in scoring and passing, I think is quite poor. Technical, quick step, and flair, I mean, they're decent, but ultimately you would happily trade those in for something like a finesse shot or an incisive pass or something like that, or a tiki-taka. And the fact that he hasn't got any of those is pretty poor. So I think out of these, Kulusevski is by far not only the better card to go for, but I think the more likely to get upgraded out of the two as well. Let me guys know what you think of the Showdown SBC. Were you also hoping for them to, you know, change up Showdowns a little bit this year? I certainly was. giving you more options than just being restricted to one player. It would have been cool to have seen a player pick, even just with 2 options, having that second option of a player to go for example, maybe for Spurs, you throw in a Pedro Porro, for example, or even a Vicario, and that'd be pretty cool because he's doing well this season. And for Chelsea, you throw in someone like, I can't even think, maybe like a Palmer or something like that would have been pretty cool. But they've gone with the 1-player option anyway, so personally, if I was saying 1, go and do Kulusevski. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.